3 lifelong friends, 6 trusty balls, and endless NFL takes. Welcome to 3 Guys, 6 Balls NFL Podcast.
Welcome to episode 35 of 3 Guys, 6 Balls NFL Podcast. I'm your host, Joel, and joining me as always is my co-host, Will. Not joining us as always is our co-host, Avery, who is still in Vegas after our Vegas trip this last weekend. We went to the Jaguars and Raiders game, and I had a lot of fun. How about you, Will?
Oh, it was a blast. Absolute blast. It's always going to be when you're in Vegas hanging out with the boys. The OG boys, right? We've known each other for, 25 years now? I think this is our first big trip together, just the three of us. Now, I realize Avery was down there with his girlfriend and some of his other friends, but still, we hung out. It was all day Sunday. We picked him up at, 10 in the morning and then dropped him off at like 9:30 at night or something like that. At least it felt like it. If not, we were hanging all day. Good day on the strip. Good day at the game. Good day at the strip again. Just fun. Just a fun day. Great time. First time in Vegas. I absolutely loved it. Definitely want to go back.
Yeah, that was the best trip we've had since Boy Scouts.
Oh yeah, Camp Merriweather, right? We were all at Camp Merriweather.
Yeah, we were all there.
That's a deep cut. I was not there for that. A lot of stuff happened.
Everybody just
as if I was there. Yeah, exactly. Everyone thinks I was there because, of course, I was. I was not.
All right. Well, let's get this show started. So the NFL trade deadline has come and gone, and so today we're going to be grading some of the trades. We're not going to do all of them because there's a lot of smaller ones that nobody really cares about, but we're going to do some of the bigger trades that happened throughout the NFL. But to get us started, Will, go ahead and give us your Week 9 recap.
Week 9 started down in Miami. Ravens at Dolphins. Lamar put on a show in his first week back. Down there in Miami, proving the Ravens are going to be a different team for the second half of this season, and the Dolphins not good. I'm shocked they weren't bigger sellers today.
Yeah, me too.
49ers at Giants. CMC is an absolute animal. It does not matter what team he plays for. He is the team. And every single week, I said it last week, I said the week before, every single week, Mac Jones is making this question if they're going to put Brock Purdy back in the lineup. Remember, this is the same coaching staff that put in Brock Purdy over Trey Lance. They traded the farm for Trey Lance and went, you know what, Mr. Irrelevant, last pick in the draft, we're going to go with that guy instead. So they have no problem benching their quote-unquote good players for the best guy available. So
Trey Lance was never good.
No, he wasn't. This may end up being, like we're seeing in Arizona right now, a soft benching, they're calling it, where maybe this Brock Purdy injury just kind of keeps lingering and lingering and lingering. And now all of a sudden the season's over and they got to figure out what to do. So we'll see what happens there. We got Chargers at Titans. I did not realize this until this week. Chargers and Titans, same exact team, different luck. The Chargers win another one-score game that on paper, they should have been an absolute blowout. I truly hope these Chargers fans are doing okay, because if I was a fan of this team, I would not be. This team does not look good, but their record says otherwise, so it's like I am just absolutely torn down the middle. Then we had Vikings at Lions. J.J. McCarthy was into Detroit and wins a big one, but before we crown J.J. a good quarterback, okay, let's come on, pause. His receivers did a really good job at getting open, and I mean like high school and college open, not NFL open, and those are different things. Kevin O'Connell did a good job at the game plan for this game, and that Vikings defense did an amazing job shutting down the Lions. Had it not been for a fumble, I think it was fairly late in the game, had it not been for that fumble there, where the Vikings got the ball inside their own 30, I think this is a different game, but that's the way it goes. Falcons at Pats. You never know what you're going to get out of the Falcons. They get blown out, or they get blown out by 30 to the Panthers, and then they beat the Bills by 10. You truly never know. I don't fault the Patriots for this at all. The Falcons are better than their record says. Drake London has 3 touchdowns. Excuse me. Drake London has 3 touchdowns, but it doesn't even matter because you still have to make the extra point after all 3 of them. Colts at Steelers. Colts turned the ball over 6 times and still only managed to lose by 1 score. Not a great sign for the Steelers, but a win is a win. They'll take it, and they're going to need it because the second half of their schedule is not looking great for them. Broncos at Texans. Will Lutz hits a game winner down in Houston. But this is Broncos team really, really good, or are they just playing down to their opponent? C.J. Stroud got a concussion early in the second, and they still had to have a last-second field goal to win this game. This Bronco team kind of feels like a fraud more and more each week. We had kind of the game of the week, which should have been on paper terrible. Bears at Bengals here. I don't know what to say besides what the Bengals offense is saying. Just get one stop. That's all they need is just get one stop. Joe Flacco put them up by points. I mean, they were up by 4, I think, 3, whatever it was. They were up by 3 with like less than 2 minutes to go, and they still couldn't do it. Joe Flacco is 9th this year in yards, like in passing yards. He is playing way too good for how old he is and for this defense to be letting them down the way they are. Just wrap up. I mean, this is like 4th grade football level stuff. I referee 4th graders and their coaches are yelling from the sideline, just wrap up, quit shoulder tackling. And you see it on the last meaningful play of that game when Colston Loveland just bounces off of 2 guys and just run into him with his shoulder. Just put your arms around him and just fall down. Now, not hip drop, not that, but just wrap up and I don't know. I'm mad about it.
They didn't even try to like trip him. Like they didn't even try to like reach their hand out and like
no, they just ran into his midsection with their shoulders. Into him. And every single player in the NFL, including the linemen, are too good of athletes and have too much athleticism to where if you run into them with your shoulders at the hips or above, they're not just going to fall down unless they don't see the hit coming or they're not braced for it. These guys have too much athleticism just to fall down like that. You have got to do something else. Anyway, Bears win. That's all that matters. Panthers at Packers. Panthers go into Lambeau and win. The football overwatchers, the football gods, whatever you want to call them, are being very consistent this season. If you wear a bad uniform, you will lose. If you pick a good throwback, you will win. That has been consistent all season long. Panthers, I guess they're okay. Who knows? Maybe the Packers aren't as good as we all think. Saints at Rams. Stafford throws for 4 tuds. Rams win. Shuck got a really rough draw for his first NFL start, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Raiders at Jags. As mentioned, we were at this game. This would have been the milquetoast game of the week, but then the 4th quarter and overtime happened. Brock Bowers had 3 touchdowns, just like Drake London did. An NFL record was set. It was the kicking record, 68-yard field goal by Cam Little, which I was. All right, it's time to pull the curtain back. We were at the game when this record was set. I was at the urinal midstream when this happened. I was
holding Will's pizza.
Now, that is not a euphemism. He actually was waiting outside the bathroom holding my pizza for me. We were going to do a whole swapsy. I was standing shoulder to shoulder to Avery. We were both midstream. We hear over the speaker in the bathroom, he hits a 68-yard field goal. And I go, oh, well, I guess this will be my memory forever. So there's that. Anyway, this game goes into overtime, takes all 10 minutes of overtime. I do love the call to go for it with 16 seconds left in overtime, go for 2. This is Vegas. We're going to gamble on it. That's just the way it works down there. That's the way it should work everywhere, right? We don't want any more ties. We don't need any more ties in the NFL. Let's just end it. Either we win or we lose. My team is better than your team. We are not equal here. That's what's going on. Then we got Chiefs at Bills. Bills get a big win over the Chiefs in the regular season, which people are saying is a bad thing. Oh, of course they win. It's the regular season. Okay, but it's better than losing that game. And then also they're winning the playoffs. At least you get one win out of it. Mahomes gets hit a lot in this game. Like a good amount. There was a couple of hits. I'm like, ooh, there's no way that wasn't a flag. And I haven't gone back through to see if all of them were flagged, but he got hit a lot. Still over 700 yards of total offense from both teams combined. One lone turnover late in the game, late in the 4th, is a big difference. Mahomes threw a 3rd and 10 deep ball. Ended up getting picked. And people are calling it an arm punt. And, it's 3rd and 10. You just threw it up. Yeah, but 3rd and 10 when you're down by 7, it's a 1-score game. You got to get your 10 and keep moving because there was just over 4 minutes left in the game. It was a big, crucial turnover right there. We got Seahawks at Commanders. Sam Darnold put on a clinic in the first half and then in the second half. Seattle team's looking real good right now. They have a tough schedule to finish it out, but they're built all around built pretty well all around to finish it out. And Hold on, we'll get here in a second. I'm not missing Jaden Daniels. We'll get there in just a second. Cardinals at Cowboys. I'm not sure if Marvin Harrison Jr. finally remembered how to play football from his college days, or if the Dallas secondary is just that bad. Jacoby Brissett looked like an absolute all-star out there, but to be fair, so did Dak. Dak looked really good. That defense is just absolutely abysmal. And truly, I mean, there was a lot of injuries. Joel and I, Monday morning in Vegas, were watching the Pat McAfee show, and they were going over all the injuries that happened this weekend. There was a lot of injuries this weekend, and some major injuries. And I feel bad for them. Jaden Daniels, Joe Alt. I didn't even remember them all, but there were some key injuries to a lot of big teams, and those are going to be huge difference makers when you come down the line. Like Washington, I'm not saying they're out of it, but when your starting quarterback goes down and now you're left with Marcus Mariota, who's been a perennial backup, he's great overall, but he's not the guy that took your team to the NFC Championship last year. He's not that guy. And then same thing with the Texans. What's his bucket? C.J. Stroud gets that concussion on a totally legal hit, mind you. They threw the flag. They picked it up and reviewed. That was a completely legal hit. He slid late. The defender was already in motion. Shoulder pad across the chest. I don't want to hear about it. Completely legal hit. His head just hit the turf real hard. And he goes out in his concussion protocol, and so he'll probably be out for next week, if not 2. I mean, he will be out for next week, if not 2 weeks. Just a lot of big injuries in the NFL this week that contributed to a lot closer games. If you think back to 2 weeks ago, a lot of blowouts, and then this week a lot of close games. So, good week in the NFL overall. Good week.
All right, yeah, I agree. And I just gotta say, when we were at the Jags and Raiders game, I thought the game was gonna be just terrible. Not going into it, but like at halftime, it was 6-3.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And then it ended up being a 29-30 game. The Raiders go for 2, and they lose on a pass that just hits the ground. So, it ended up being just a great game in the second half. After the first half, just looked like it was just going to be a dud, but it ended up being really good. So I'm glad we went. I had a lot of fun. But yeah,
I'd also like to add real quick before we move on from that. With the Raiders not having the season that maybe they hoped this year, I was a little concerned with, hey, how's the environment going to be in this stadium? Are we going to be loud? Are we going to be involved? Having no rooting interest in either team, I was like, how is the vibe going to be in this stadium? Offense gets announced, so if you don't know, NFL games are sometimes one game the offense gets announced, then the defense, then the special teams. They don't do the entire starting roster every single week like you see on TV. So they don't do the starting offense when the offense is out there. The starting defense, that's a TV thing. That's not the way the stadium goes. So the offense got announced this week, which would have been cool if the defense did. It would have been great to hear Max Crosby come out. But Geno Smith got announced last. And when Geno got announced and he ran out, the whole stadium was booing him. It was loud booing. I even mentioned it to Joel Neighbors. Oh, I wonder if Geno gets booed here. And then, lo and behold, he got booed loud. And that's when it started before opening kickoff. And the vibes in that stadium, the fandom that Las Vegas has was really good. It was a really good place to be. The vibes were great. The fans were involved. Some ignorant, but that's just the way fandom is going to go no matter what stadium you're in. And hey, shout out Las Vegas. You are a town of transients. People are there and they happen to see a game because they're already there, or they're going there just like us just to see the game. Not a lot of people are lifelong Vegas residents. And so you're going to have a lot of in and out fans, but those that were there, they let everybody know they were there. It was a good time. Real good time.
It was. And since we're talking about the Jaguars and the Raiders, we might as well just get started with the trade that the Jaguars and Raiders made. They must have just, stayed after the game and just been like, look, we want this guy, so let's make it happen.
I mean, he for sure gets on the team plane and goes home with them, yeah?
Might as well.
But anyway, that was the first one this morning, yeah?
I think there was one before that.
Well, the first big name, I guess, maybe.
Maybe. I don't remember the order, but we'll get started with this trade. So the Jaguars and Raiders made a trade. So the Jaguars get wide receiver Jacoby Myers, and the Raiders get a 4th and a 6th round pick. So, Will, what would you grade these two teams on this trade?
I like this trade for both teams. I witnessed it, right? They're not using Jacoby Myers the way that he could be used. I witnessed it in person in that game.
Will actually said, or no, it was Avery. It was Avery. Avery, during that game, he was like, do the Raiders even have any receivers at all? Like, they're just throwing to the tight ends. That's it.
It was 2 or 3 different tight ends and Ashton Genty, and that was it.
That was
which is pretty on brand for Pete Carroll. Which Seahawks fans will come at me for that, but I don't really care. He's a big running back and tight end guy, and so I like this trade for both ends. Obviously, the Raiders are in rebuilding. I don't think they're scrapping the whole thing, because if they were, they'd have fired Pete Carroll already. But I think they're in rebuild, and so getting draft picks in, I give this one probably a B, maybe a B minus all around, because if you're the Jaguars, you're not getting anything major, right? You're getting a filler piece. Travis Hunter, he went on the IR. Brian Thomas apparently has a high ankle sprain, or a low-grade low ankle sprain. I don't know which way. It's a low-grade ankle sprain, whether it's high or low, I don't remember. And so he's going to be hindered, if nothing else, for a while. And so you bring in extra help. It's a guy who's had at least 700 yards in all of his seasons. At least 700 yards in all of his seasons there. So he's a proven veteran. He's a role player. He's not going to be your absolute starter, but he should help take some pressure off of one, Trevor Lawrence, and two, Brian Thomas Jr. So, and maybe this means that they can commit Travis Hunter to the defense a bit more rather than having him play so much offense.
So I was actually going to ask you. So I actually had the same thought. So I was going to ask, like, do you think that the Jaguars trading for Jacoby Myers lets the Jaguars play Travis Hunter on the defensive side more?
I do. I think you add, maybe not an equivalent skill wise. I think Travis Hunter may be a better athlete than Jacoby Myers, but Jacoby Myers is a more refined wide receiver than Travis Hunter. And so I think you add a bit more skill in that wise, or in that sense. And so I think we will see less Travis Hunter, because it's already happening. He's on IR right now, which means it's at least 4 weeks. And so if you're getting hurt in your first season and you're playing both sides of the ball, we're going to need you to go ahead and pick, because you're getting worn down. Your body's going to get degraded way too soon. Deteriorated. Degraded is something different. My bad, everybody.
Same thing.
Body degrading. Full different topic. Anyway, but his body's deteriorating already, and it's his first year, and so let's just have him pick a side. We like him better as corner. I like him better as a corner as well. I feel like good corners are harder to come across. And if he's going to be good, which I do believe he's been pretty good at in the secondary, then let's go ahead and just move him over there.
Right, and I agree. I agree. I think the Jaguars, seeing that Travis Hunter has been hurt, and the way that they're using him, I think that they're going to use him more specifically on the defensive side of the ball. And I think getting Jacoby Myers allows them to do that. I think they still will use Travis Hunter on offense, but I think it's going to be more for like a more specific role, like very specific plays on offense. And I think it allows him to just play a more specific role in the secondary and on defense, and allows him to get better at that position rather than just, doing 50% of the time here and 50% of the time there. So I think having Jacoby Myers just gives them a more consistent option that they can use on offense, and allow Travis Hunter to specialize in one thing rather than doing both, even though I know he wants to do both. And I think they still will use him at both, but just a little bit less on offense and more on defense. So for this trade, I give both sides a B. I think the Jaguars, it's a solid move. It's a solid move. It doesn't do anything to make me think that the Jaguars are going to be contenders. I still don't think they're contenders, but it's a solid move overall. And really the biggest reason I say it's a solid move is because Jacoby Myers is, one, he's a solid player, and two, what we just talked about with Travis Hunter, it allows him to be in a more specialized position rather than splitting time here and there. For the Raiders, I think it's a solid B, because Jacoby Myers was not going to be there next season anyway, and they just needed to trade him to get something back. And so, he already requested a trade. He's on the last year of his deal. He's not going to be there next season, so you just trade the guy because you're already in a losing situation. You're not going to be in the playoffs. You're not going to win anything, and so you just get something back for him. It wasn't like a lot of compensation, but it's a 4th and a 6th round pick. So you got something for a guy who's not going to be there and who didn't want to be there. So I think it's a solid trade for both sides.
Agreed.
Will, I'm gonna let you go ahead and pick the next trade we talk about here. We'll just kind of swap. We'll just go.
Ooh.
I'll pick one. You pick one.
Yeah, let's stay with the wide receivers. Seattle Seahawks obtained from the New Orleans Saints wide receiver Rashid Shaheed for a 4th-round pick this year and a 5th-round pick this year. What do you think, Joel?
So, for the Seahawks, I'm going to give it an A. And the reason I give it an A for the Seahawks is because you already have JSN, who is unguardable this year. Nobody has been able to guard JSN. And they do have some other really nice weapons. Sam Darnold is just balling. He's getting the ball to everybody on that field. He's getting the ball to guys that we've never heard of before. But now you have a legitimate deep threat in that offense, a guy who runs a 4.3 40, a guy who is known as a big play guy, and he comes into this offense, and it's only going to help Sam Darnold. It's only going to help JSN. I really, really like this move for the Seahawks. I think they maybe gave up a little bit too much, maybe just a little bit too much, which is why I didn't give it an A+. I still love the move, though, because the Saints got more for Shaheed than the Raiders got for Jacoby Myers. So the Seahawks gave up more, but I feel like with what they already have on their offense and what they needed in that offense, this is a perfect move for the Seattle Seahawks. And for the Saints, I think it's a B. I give it a B. I mean, the Saints are bad. They're going to be bad. You know, the reason I give it a solid B is because 4 years ago when Shaheed came into the league, he was undrafted. So just 4 years ago, the Saints spent literally nothing on this guy as far as draft capital to get him on their team. They developed him, and now they're getting picks back for him. So it's 4 years later, but you're getting compensation that you didn't originally spend on this guy. So I think it's a solid trade. The Saints weren't going anywhere. I don't think he didn't want to be there, but I think it's you might as if somebody's looking for him and you can get something that's going to help you build your team in the future, you might as well do it, right? It's not like he's a superstar. He's not a superstar by any means. You didn't trade away a superstar. He's just a solid guy who can be a deep threat, and that's what the Seahawks are getting. They're getting a deep threat who's going to open things up even more for JSN, which is crazy because he's just always open, it seems like. And so I really love the trade for the Seattle Seahawks. They're looking scary right now. I don't want to say this because I absolutely hate this, but the Seahawks could actually be the best team in the NFC right now.
Well, top 2. Number 2.
The Seahawks are scary, man. They're scary right now.
Yeah, they're like I said, they're very good. They are very well built. They're very well coached. McDonald, is it? It's not Mike. What is that guy's
McDonald?
Name? Oh, yeah, okay, it is Mike. Yeah, their coach has come in and he has proved himself to be his own coach. And so I think the Seattle Seahawks they're well coached all around. And they've got a good team. I don't want to say wonderful because I don't like the Seahawks. That's a personal thing, but they're very good. And it doesn't even pain me to say that. Truly, they are it's inarguable that team is very good.
They are
offensively and defensively. One thing I like about this trade is that 2 weeks ago they had their bye week, and then this week Cooper Kupp still out with a lingering heel and hamstring injury, and so you get a person in who, like you said, I think this is his 4th year in the league, right? Or is this his 5th?
For Shaheed, yeah, this is his 4th year. Yeah,
this is his 4th year. He gets to come in. He gets to learn under Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's got skills that every single wide receiver in the NFL can learn from. And so it's come in, and even though he's not playing, word from Seattle is that he's been more like a coach and mentor to the rest of the players. And I think that has a huge benefit as to why they're being so successful. And so you bring another piece, and so when Cooper Kupp's healthy, you get to put Cooper in the slot, have him be your short route guy, maybe your mid route guy, have JSN be your short route guy that's going to break things open, and you got Shaheed downfield as your downfield threat. I like your grades a lot. Pretty milquetoast for the Saints, right? The same thing as the Raiders. You're looking to get rid of somebody who you can live without because you're bad anyway. The old was that Matt Nagy with the Bears said that our defense was bad with Khalil Mack. It's gonna be bad without him. One of those kind of things. It's yeah, but he's a real good player. Anyway, and so you get a couple pieces in, fourth and fifth, and I think a big piece of this, and this will come up later when we talk about the Sauce Gardner trade, is that you as the Saints are valuing your player who you got undrafted against what you're giving up or what you're getting. So we're giving away one undrafted guy for a guy who's supposed to be on paper better. He's a fourth and a fifth round pick. And so I like that. I like it a lot for the Saints, but it's pretty milquetoast. I think this gets probably a B plus for the Seahawks for me, and either a C plus or a B minus for the Saints. It's nothing.
All right, so while we're on the topic of the Seahawks, Will, I got to ask, is Jackson Smith-Njigba the best receiver in the NFL right now?
Because Puka's been hurt off and on throughout the season, it's hard to argue with. I don't know if I can make that statement with definity, but without going through all the stats and looking it up, I mean, it's hard to argue with, though. He came out before the season started and said he wanted to be, and he's making a real good case for himself.
I think JSN is the number one receiver in the NFL right now. He is by far the top receiver in the NFL right now. He is crazy good right now. He is unguardable. He's fifth in receptions. He's first in receiving yards. He's averaging 16.3 yards per catch. He's on pace for over 2,000 yards. If you compare his season to how good Jamar Chase was last season, there's some things where Jamar Chase was better, but overall, JSN is crushing it right now. So you look at Jamar Chase. So last year he had 7 games with 8+ catches, and he had 5 games with 100+ receiving yards. Jackson Smith-Njigba's worst game this year is 4 catches for 79 yards. He's played 8 games. He has 6 of those where he has 100+ yards. 1 of those is for 96 yards. And he has 8+ catches in 6 of those 8 games. That is insane.
That's very good. Yeah.
Very good. At worst, I think Jason is a top 3 receiver right now. At worst.
I think it's safe to say he is best right now.
Yeah, the guy's just playing out of his mind. I mean, Sam Darnold and JSN right now, they're a scary combination. It's scary. But yeah, I think JSN is the best receiver in the NFL right now. All right, so we'll move on to the next trade. So let's go with some Colts and Jets here. This was a good one. So the Colts traded for cornerback Sauce Gardner, and the Jets get a 2026 and a 2027 first-round pick, plus wide receiver A.D. Mitchell. So, Will, what grades would you give the Colts and the Jets in this trade?
Man, okay. I think for the Jets, I'm giving this either an A minus or a B plus. Okay, I mean, nobody even had Sauce Gardner on the might be traded list to start today. And all of a sudden that news breaks, and it's like, oh my gosh, what?
There wasn't even a rumor about it or anything.
No, this was very under wraps, and some reports have come out and said that the Colts and Jets have been working this for a few weeks. So this isn't like a make a phone call today thing. This is a few weeks. Carly Ursay gets on the phone, puts the headset down, and says, listen, we doing this or not? Now, I obviously have no idea which one of the Ursay big three made the deal, but I like this a lot for both teams. I think this is an A, probably just a solid A for the Colts. They get an extra piece in that secondary. They are betting on themselves. Okay, Sauce is a wonderful, wonderful player. He's super, super good. I don't even know the right adjectives to use here. He's great. He's one of the best corners in the game. Like he is one of the best corners in the league. And so they are betting that they won't be able to find that quality of player at the end of the first round this year, or what's most likely to be the end of the first round this year, or what they're hoping is the end of the first round next year. Right now, they're projected picks 31 or 32, something like that, but just based on records. Obviously, it's whoever wins the Super Bowl gets the last pick and runner-up and so on and so forth. And so they're thinking that we're going to have picks 30 through 32 right now, and so we're not going to find a guy of this quality, and because we're getting him in here, we're going to be in the same boat next year. We're getting picked 31 or 32, And so I like this pick a lot from the Saints. The Colts, excuse me. The Jets just signed Sauce to a 4-year deal, and so they don't have to worry about that. They just get the whole contract. They're paying him like $700,000 for the rest of this year. They're paying him a bag of rocks for the end of this season to come in and go on a Super Bowl run. Now it will be a financial burden the next couple of years. It's like an average of $25.1 million over the next 3 years after this, and so it's going to be a big hit because you're going to have to pay guys like Daniel Jones needs to get paid. I think Jonathan Taylor's contract is up. Like, there's some big pieces that are going to have to get paid in that Colts team. But with what we've seen in the NFL, that just doesn't seem to matter. It seems like there's just money for everyone. Not quite baseball, no salary cap money, but the way these contracts are working out, it's okay. So we're going to pay this guy $7 million this year, but next year he'll get $30 million. And this other guy, he'll get $30 million this year, but next year he'll get $7 million. And just doing this like balancing act where everyone's getting all the money they want. And it just seems to be working. And I don't know how it works. Obviously, I'm not a financial guy. I'm not in the NFL financial world, but it's working for him. I like this pick or this trade a lot for the Saints. Flip. That's twice. I like this pick a lot for the Colts and the Jets. The trade here. I said pick again. Man, I'm doing real good today. I'm just so good at this. I professional podcast right here, guys. Don't ever forget it. But anyway, what do you think about it?
So just going off of the contract thing real quick, I don't think it would be a problem for the Colts moving forward with the contract because I know that, like Daniel Jones and guys like Jonathan Taylor are going to get paid. But I don't see them, and I could be wrong here, but I don't see them being like, I want to be the highest paid quarterback. I want to be the highest paid running back. Like, I don't see that happening because I feel like they've been losing for so long that when you finally get that taste of success, you want more of it, right? And so if it was me, I would still want to get paid, but I don't think I would go out there and be like, I want to be the highest paid player at my position because I want to keep winning. Those players want to keep winning. They don't want to just win for one season. They want to keep winning because none of them have won anywhere. They haven't won anything.
It was just a couple years ago that Jonathan Taylor did hold out for the first 3 or 4 games of the season for a contract.
But now he's winning. It's different now. It's different now.
And you're only able to do that. And this is a know your worth scenario. You're only able to hold out so many times before the whole NFL says we're not touching this guy. Now Jonathan Taylor, very, very good. Probably has maybe 1-2 more holdouts left in him, but it's not something you want to be consistent about because then you get like blacklisted as he's going to get held out or he's going to be a holdout. He's going to fight us for the contract that he wants, and that's not really what these players are trying to do. So anyway, continue.
Right, and if it was either of those guys, I think it would be Jonathan Taylor, but I definitely don't see Daniel Jones being like, I want to be the highest paid quarterback in the league. Like, I feel like everybody would just be like, no, sorry, we're not doing that. But I don't see him doing that anyway. But I feel like because they're getting a taste of winning and they want more winning, I think that I don't see that happening. But for the Colts, I give this trade an A+. They knocked this out of the park. They are going all in right now. They're putting all their pieces in this season. This reminds me of when the Rams traded for Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the Colts are going to win the Super Bowl, but they're definitely going to have a shot at it. That's for sure. They're going all in. They're going all in right now. They're trading their picks to get a guy who's going to help them. He's going to be a shutdown corner for that team. And really what I love about this, why I gave it an A+, is because they addressed their biggest need on defense. They're a solid defense overall. They're tied for the 4th most sacks. They're 7th in points per game allowed. They're 4th in rushing yards allowed. They're top 5 in takeaways. Their one weakness, they were 26th in passing yards allowed. 26th. And you get a shutdown corner now to solve your biggest weakness on defense. So not only are you going all in, but you're going all in by solving a problem for your team. I love this trade for the Colts. Absolutely love it. For the Jets, I give it a B+. Their team sucks. They know they're not going anywhere. They just needed to get rid of guys. And if they're going to get rid of guys, get as much as you can back, right? It's not an A for me because those first rounders are going to be late first round picks. And I just don't, they probably didn't have a whole lot of options because I don't see a team that's, like in the middle tier, like trading for a guy like Sauce Gardner and giving up what they gave up to get him. So They probably didn't have a whole lot of options, but that's the reason why it's not an A. Also, the fact that the Jets, they have all these picks now, and they're probably going to fumble it somehow. So that's why I didn't give it an A. It's hard to give the Jets an A at anything because of just they're the Jets. So I give it a solid B+, though. I think it's a good move for both sides, but the Colts absolutely knocked this trade out of the park.
So the Colts also have Kenny Moore. Is that the right guy I'm thinking of?
That sounds
He's
familiar.
another cornerback. So they've got two very well-paid shutdown corners. I think Kenny Moore's been hurt a little bit this year, and so I think that contributes as to why their pass defense has been subpar. But I like this move a lot for the Colts. It's one of these things that you're going all in. It just kind of needs to pay off before I can fully grade it.
Right. And these are just instant reaction grades.
Sure.
It's kind of like the draft. Like you think that somebody has a good draft, but you have to wait 3 years before you can really know what the grade is. So, all right, well, you're next. Pick us another trade.
Oh, let's stay with the Jets.
Ooh, this is a good one.
Yeah, Jets acquire Mozzie Smith. Yeah, that's the end of this deal we want to talk about.
That's an
Dallas Cowboys acquire Quinnen Williams from the New York Jets for first-round draft pick, the highest Dallas pick, which I'm not quite sure what that wording means. Is that either the Jets or either the Packers or Dallas, whichever one is higher? Is that what that means?
I was under the impression that it was Dallas's pick. It was never very specific anywhere that I saw it, so I don't actually know if it's the Packers pick or the Dallas pick. Everything I saw said it was Dallas's pick, but it wasn't very specific, so I'm not actually sure.
Interesting. Anyway, that's next year's pick, next year's first-round pick, and this year's second-round pick, as well as Mozzie Smith. So they get Quinnen Williams, and they trade away a first-round pick next year, a second-round pick this year, and Mozzie Smith to bring in Quinnen Williams. Joe, initial thoughts and reactions?
Let me just get started by saying this. Can we just give a round of applause to Jerry Jones for doing literally anything at the trade deadline? That deserves a round of applause.
Truly.
Just for doing literally anything.
It has been years. I mean, I'm a bit shocked when he came out and said, well, we got picks now, and what's to say we don't trade them right now? And then we went 9 weeks and nothing happened. I imagined we were going to go another 10 weeks, the season was going to end, and nothing was going to happen. Dallas has not often been big buyers. I think that's fair to say at the trade deadline.
Often isn't even have.
Yeah, I'm just putting qualifiers on it to not get roasted on the internet. But they're often very quiet at the trade deadline, and their entire fandom is yelling, "Please do something. We are 8-8 for the 10th year in a row under Jason Garrett. Please do something." And so, obviously, that's not the scenario now. I understand they have a different coach, different everything. Just bear with me. But here they are making a big move here. Anyway, continue.
All right. So for the Cowboys, I feel like Cowboys fans are going to really love this trade, but I'm giving this trade a B- for the Cowboys. And the reason I'm giving this trade a B- for the Cowboys is because I feel like the Cowboys are just going in circles at this point. You trade away Micah Parsons, who is a generational pass rusher, the best player you have on your team. Some could even say the best defensive player in the league. You could make that argument. And then you bring in Quinnen Williams, who is a very good player. I don't think he's a generational player by any means. He's a very good player. But you originally got, in return for Micah Parsons, you got 2 first-round picks. Now you give up a first-round pick to get Quinnen Williams. So if you look at it just from a Cowboys perspective, just without the other teams involved, just from a Cowboys perspective, here's what Dallas gets and what Dallas loses. Dallas gets Quinnen Williams and a 2026 first-round pick, and they lose Micah Parsons and a 2026 second-round pick and Mozzie Smith. It doesn't feel that great.
And a 2027 first-round pick.
Well, did I say that wrong?
You just missed a piece. You said they get a 2026 first-round pick.
No, because they gave that up.
Oh, because I see.
No,
you were zeroing things out.
Right, exactly. So that's why I'm just looking at it strictly from a Cowboys perspective of what they have now and what they lost. And it's just right now.
I'm sorry,
So,
I didn't follow that.
Yeah. So just to review that. So after all the trades, and just from a Cowboys perspective, without the Packers or the Jets involved, the Dallas Cowboys now have Quinnen Williams and a 2026 first round pick in addition to their 2026 first round pick. So they have one additional first round pick. And they lost Micah Parsons, a generational pass rusher, a 2026 second round pick, which, by the way, is only going to be about 15 picks worse than the 2026 first round pick, and Mozzie Smith. It doesn't feel like it's that great, honestly.
No,
I would rather
really.
have the 2 first round picks. And I know they're not going to be super great picks. They're going to be in the 20s, probably late 20s. Although who knows what you're getting with the Packers. They're going to be in the 20s somewhere. They're going to be in the 20s somewhere. But I personally would have the 2 first round picks. That's just me. I feel like it's kind of just going in circles. You get rid of Micah Parsons, you bring in Quinnen Williams. You get a first round pick, you lose a first round pick. And you lost a second round pick.
Right. I think they need an upgrade. They obviously need an upgrade at defensive tackle. I do. This is going to be a bit of ignorance. Does Dallas run a 3-4 or a 4-3? Do you know? Or do they swap a lot?
I stopped caring about Dallas's defense a long time ago.
So they're going to have to start running a 4-3. If they don't already, they're going to have to. Because they've got Kenny Clark and now Quinnen Williams. You're not going to leave one of those 2 guys on the sideline. You're playing both of those guys all game long. I don't know. You're trading an edge rusher. When all is said and done, you're trading a good pass rusher to stop the run. That's what you're doing. Because you're clogging the middle and you're trying to stop the run.
Right. And we've talked about this before, Will, is what's been the biggest problem for the Cowboys, specifically in the playoffs, is stopping the run.
Oh, yeah. They can't stop the run.
Now, this move looks good to stop the run. It looks good. But what about everybody else on your defense? With Quinnen Williams, you probably have one actually really good player on your defense.
Right.
And that's not to say that some of the other guys aren't good. I love Deron Bland. As a former Cowboys fan.
Roasted this week, though.
He did. And CeeDee Lamb let everybody know about it, too. Did you see his face? Did you see his face after that?
I did not.
He was just on the sidelines like, oh, dude, he just got roasted.
Was that on the touchdown? On Marvin Harrison's touchdown?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That was
as soon as that happens.
It was such. Oof, that was bad.
Yeah. CeeDee Lamb's on the sideline. He's just sitting there and he's like, oh, dude, he just got cooked. So I love Deron Bland. Like, he's a solid player, but he's not a star. Dallas's defense now has one legitimately good player that you can consider a star. And it was the same thing with Micah Parsons. It's just a different position. Right. That defense was bad with Micah Parsons. It's still bad now. It just feels like the Cowboys are just going in circles. That's why I give it a B-. And it probably could be lower, aside from the fact that Jerry Jones actually did something. So that's why I give it a little bit higher of a grade. But it could be a C, honestly. It just kind of just cancels out. But for the Jets, I think that this is an A. And this has to do with the other trade that they made, because they're just stockpiling picks right now.
Right.
So the Jets now have 2 first rounders in 2026 and 2 second rounders in 2026, and they have 3 first round picks in 2027. If that's not an A, I don't know what is.
I wonder, I mean, just like you said, we don't trust the Jets to make the right pick, though.
Then that's the thing, is I'm not basing it off of who they pick at all, because we just don't know.
This is just pick value. Pick value.
Right. This is like Madden status. Like, this is like Madden franchise mode, and you just traded all your good players for a bunch of first round picks, and hopefully you get something good. Like, obviously in Madden, you can cheat and get really good. Yeah, you can make it happen. But like right now, like it feels like the Jets are like on franchise mode in Madden, and they just got a whole bunch of first round picks to just get a whole bunch of good players. And that doesn't have, my grade has nothing to do with who they could pick, because we just don't know. They'll fumble it somehow. They'll fumble it just like the Browns do.
Guaranteed.
They'll fumble everything. But this is not based off of that at all. This is just the picks that they received.
To me, this feels like Kevin Costner's coming in draft day status to Dallas or back to Indianapolis, and they trade back, like, we'll give you this bag of rocks and you're going to give us our first round pick back, kind of thing. Or actually, we don't want our first round pick. You're going to give us your first round pick, and we're going to give you, I don't know, Dwight Freeney, who's been retired for 10 years. Just something like that is something's going to happen with these Jets, which is too bad to say about the Jets, but I mean, they're just not trustable currently.
Right, exactly. What are your grades for this trade, Will?
For the Jets, I actually think, and this to me is strictly because I don't trust them. I'm not just going off pick value. I think this is future facing. I actually give them a B- for this. Their defense got worse today. If you're playing the Jets the rest of this season, you are salivating. Your offense is salivating. You're like, thank goodness we don't have to play against Sauce Gardner or Quinnen Williams anymore. The Bills, I don't even know if the Bills play the Jets again this year. They may have already played them twice.
I don't think so.
Jets
I think they play them one more time.
Jets schedule moving forward. Oh my gosh, they play the Browns. Could you imagine how much? I mean, if you are Dylan Gabriel and you are struggling through your first 5 starts or whatever it's been, and then 5 days, before you play the Browns or before you play the Jets, they get rid of their 2 best defensive players, and you're like, I'm sorry, now we can run and throw the ball on them? This is going to be great. And then they've got the Patriots and then the Ravens and the Falcons, the Dolphins, probably like, hey, we might actually get another win out of this thing. The Saints probably looking for a win here now. They do play the Bills last game in the regular season, but it's not going to matter at that point. I mean, I don't know. I give this a bad grade, a C for the Jets. I think is where I'm going to land, because you made your team worse today. Your team will not get better until 2027, based off of the moves you made today. You did not win. You didn't win, and it's not provable that you won for 2 more years. That means you didn't win. You're making risks today that have a 2-year payout in a league that is all about winning right now. The entire NFL is, when did you last win? When was your last Super Bowl? When was your last championship game? When was your last this, that, and the other? Players get paid based off of statistics, which is what did you do this year. It's not a what can you do. Potential gets you cut from the league. Stats and right now get you paid. And right now, the Jets made their team worse. Today, they made their team worse. So this gets a C. I'm probably downgrading this to a C- for the Jets. Honestly, the more I talk about it, the worse this grade's going to keep getting. Now, for Dallas, kind of like you said, I don't think Dallas's defense is better today. Well, actually, I take that back. I do think Dallas's defense is better today than it was 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
Because you got a big upgrade at defensive tackle. Mozzie Smith, not great. He's not horrible, not great. Quinnen Williams is great. A trade we haven't talked about yet, you got Logan Wilson. They had the worst middle linebacker starting in the league. I mean, you can watch all the film you want on this guy. That guy, I don't even know what his name is. He is terrible. He doesn't know how to play man coverage. He doesn't know how to play zone coverage. He can't stop the run. That guy was terrible. And so your defense did get better off of this right now. I don't think you're doing enough to make your team a contender. I don't think you're doing enough to make your team a playoff team. And so with that, and this is where I'm going to talk a circle here, giving away your future when you're not good enough to be good, like with the Colts, they're thinking we have a late 20s, early 30s pick here, so we're going to be good, so we can finance our future a little bit to stay good right now. But when you're already not good, you should not be financing your future. Dallas should not be getting rid of their picks for the future for good players right now. I felt like they were buyers when they should have been sellers. Not that they should be selling anybody on that team, but they weren't buyers when they needed to be buyers a few years ago. And
Right.
so for Dallas, I give this trade a B plus, maybe right in between B and B plus, because you did get better, but the cost may have been too high.
Yep. I agree. But one more time, let's just applaud Jerry for just doing literally anything.
And just real quick
job,
here,
Jerry.
Dallas also acquired from the Cincinnati Bengals Logan Wilson, a middle linebacker from the Bengals for a 7th-round pick. I give this an A for Dallas, and I give this an F for the Bengals. You got a 7th-round pick on a defense that is abysmal, and if the Bengals were going to go on a fire sale, sell them. Don't get rid of one of your better players and get basically nothing back in return. I mean, I was expecting more moves from the Bengals today, and it did not happen. And this is a good pickup for Dallas, bad pickup, bad loss for the Bengals.
Yep. All right. So let's see. Probably got time for one. There's a lot of other trades out there, but probably got time for one more trade. And this one's kind of a collection because it's with the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Philadelphia Eagles made several trades, just to name a few. So the Eagles get edge rusher Jalen Phillips from the Dolphins for a 3rd-round pick. So they gave up a 3rd-round pick to get him. They traded for cornerback Jair Alexander and a 2027 7th-round pick, and they gave up a 2026 6th-round pick. They traded for corner Michael Carter and a 2027 7th-round pick and gave up wide receiver John Mechie and a 2027 6th-round pick. So the Eagles made a few trades. We're kind of going to grade this as a collective here. Now, from the Eagles, we're not going to grade the other teams on this one just because we're doing just the Eagles as a whole, but I think the Eagles get an A.
I
think
agree.
They get an A.
Yeah.
And here's what I don't understand. If you're a team in the NFL, why would you trade a player? I'm just trying to. Sorry, I can't.
I get it.
I can't even say this. If you're a team in the NFL, why would you trade a good player that makes the Super Bowl champions better? Why would you trade a good player to the reigning Super Bowl champions to make them better? It doesn't make any sense to me. You got a 3rd-round pick for Jalen Phillips. Could you not have got a 3rd-round pick from any of the other 30 teams in the league? Why would you trade a good player? He's not a great player. He's not a superstar. He's a solid player that makes the Eagles better. Why would you trade a solid player that helps the Eagles to the reigning Super Bowl champions? And it's not even about the Eagles. It's any team that's the reigning Super Bowl champions. If the Rams win the Super Bowl, the Bucks win the Super Bowl, the Eagles win the Super Bowl, the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, why would you trade a good player to the reigning Super Bowl champions that makes them better? It makes zero sense to me. And Will, I don't know if you have any opinion on this at all, but it makes literally no sense to me to do this. I don't understand it at all.
I mean, this makes sense from the Eagles, right? Eagles have been, I think they've been buyers.
100%.
I think the Eagles are buyers almost every year, aren't they? At the trade deadline?
Yeah,
I don't think the Eagles give a single crap about their draft picks. They just keep bringing in more and more veterans. They buy every year. Like, yeah, let's just keep stacking it.
That's why I don't understand
that guy? We'll take him.
That's why I don't understand it, because why do teams just keep giving the Eagles these guys that just keep being successful with the Eagles? Don't trade with the Eagles. And again, it's not even about the Eagles. Don't trade with the reigning Super Bowl champions. Why would you make the reigning Super Bowl champions better? It makes no sense. Zero sense.
Yeah, I don't have an answer there. I don't know if anybody does. Besides, maybe it was the only offer they were actually getting. Maybe it was, hey, we'll try to take away from their future. If they give us a draft pick, then they don't get it in the future. But really, round 3, pick 32, pick 30, pick 28. I mean, you're going to get a guy you have to develop still.
The Eagles also have the Jets' 3rd-round pick, and they're going to get another 3rd-round pick from a compensatory pick. The Eagles literally gave up nothing.
Yeah.
It's like they literally gave up nothing.
Which is why they're doing it. That's why they're doing that deal. Because they don't have to give up anything. Which is
exactly why it makes no sense for anybody to trade to the Eagles.
But good job by the Eagles. Not Hugh Laurie. That's Dr. House. Howie Long. Yeah, Howie Roseman. There it is. Good golly, Howie. It's a rough day for me, everybody.
We worked
Please
our way
bear
through
with
that
me.
one there. We worked our way
Please
through it.
bear with me. Listen, same time zone, absolute jet lag. I did not even leave the time zone. The amount of time I spent in airports over the last, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Sunday, 0 hours. Between Saturday and Monday, I spent probably 12, if not more hours in an airport or on an airplane. To go 2 hours away, it was too much. I'm mentally beat. Sorry, everyone. Not my best performance.
But yeah, overall, I think the Eagles knocked their trades out of the park, as they
Absolutely.
usually do. So
Overall, not a bad day for the NFC West. East, good. Flipping golly, I need to go away now. we need to close this one out.
All right, well, that's all we got for this episode.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well, yeah, it was a really good trade deadline. I think there was a lot of really good trades, a lot of really interesting
exciting.
trades. Yeah, it was very exciting. It was kind of hard to keep up with, honestly. Like, I was like scrambling to like try and put all the pieces together. I can't imagine how Adam Schefter and those guys do that. That is,
dude,
insane.
If you want entertainment to see somebody who's more stressed out than you, go back and watch the Pat McAfee show today. He FaceTime calls Adam Schefter 3 or 4 different times. One time, Adam Schefter answers the FaceTime while on his other phone and says, "Hey guys, I can't." He looks so disheveled all day. So just skip through until you see Adam Schefter's face. It is worth a laugh at somebody who's more stressed out than you.
Yeah, I don't know how those guys do that. That is absolutely insane. But yeah, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these teams do moving forward. But I think there was a lot of really good trades, and some teams set themselves up for the future really well. So that's all we got time for on today's episode, guys. Next week, we'll have Avery back with us. And as always, guys, don't forget to keep your balls played with. We'll see you next time.
Bye now, y'all. Also, Mark Davis's haircut still sucks.